You mentioned you may go to a couple of games a week, but then also I'm presuming you are also watching games like video as well, so you're not actually going out to every single one of them. I just want to speak in terms of how that's developed over the years, because obviously there's a lot more providers now, which, video is a lot easier to come by than it was 10, 15 years ago. When even obviously further than that, it would have been a hell of a lot different. So how is your time split potentially? I mean, maybe not just yourself, but also the technical scouts that you have in terms of watching on video, but then still having the ability to go and see them live, because obviously that is a very important part of the scouting process as well, not just purely relying on video, but I'm sure the video gets you so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, again, not every team in the world is going to have super big budgets to be able to have scouts based in Central or South America or Asia. You've got to utilize the tools that you've got at your disposal. Um, Certainly, since I've been in the industry and even with my sort of part-time work elsewhere and sort of placements, it's come on leaps and bounds in terms of the access to video. Y Scout clearly has a stronghold on the market, and they're obviously provide a good service for the video. But you're right, there are other sort of platforms out there now that are maybe not challenging, but certainly trying to influence the industry. So Eyeball now focus on sort of more youth football and sort of scouting from that sense, which I think is interesting for teams. Um, so yeah, from for me, the video side of it is important. It saves a lot of time. I think it can be hard and tough on the road just in England, let alone any sort of travel into Europe or any trips abroad if your club is able to do that as well. So utilizing video is absolutely paramount, and I think it does get you a lot of the way there. I think with the football industry, a lot of it comes down to sort of references and contacts that people have. So, you know, it's ideal to be able to go and watch a player live and scout them from your club's point of view. But if it's quite hard to get there and watch them live, and you can watch considerably more games on video, and the important thing is then watching them in different contexts. Quite often, you may go to a game, the in England or in Scotland, the pitch conditions or the weather conditions can massively impact the game. If the player gets subbed on or subbed off early, if they get sent off, they might not be starting. Um, you know, Also, think about, you might travel 2 hours to go and watch a player, and you're watching them at home. They then play against 10 men for 70 minutes, and you don't really learn anything new. The beauty about the video side of the game is that you can watch them at home, you can watch them away with 10 men against 10 men, when they're 2 goals up, when they're 2 goals down. Try and watch them across as many different contexts as possible to then build up that picture of the player. And I think that's the beauty of video. You're right, it's not the absolute be all from being able to draw a full conclusion. In ideal world, you potentially would go and see them live, but again, depending on your team size and sort of how your structure is, there are a lot more clubs now who do 90-80% of their work via video, and then will occasionally go and watch the players live. So yeah, there are many different ways of going about it, and each club has its own setup, and depending on your department size, you can make it work for you. There are some disadvantages of using video, but for the most part, it's a very good tool that every club, certainly professionally, will be utilizing now, just due to time and staff and money constraints.
Yeah, yeah. I think you mentioned it there. Like there does seem to be a lot more coverage, at least becoming available on youth football, but then even like the countries such as like African football, which we're probably lacking a lot of as well. But yeah, it seems like that is changing. I think I might be off on this, Lee, but in terms of the whole increase in tech and data and things like that, I understand that there's a cost to that, so not every club will be able to afford that. But do you feel like that levels the playing field a little bit in the fact that teams with lower budgets, although they will have to pay for the data and the video access, they're seeing leagues that they probably wouldn't see, because like you said, they can't send scouts to every country around Europe. But because the way I'm looking at it is, say a Man City, for example, they're not going to sign a player, at least for the first team environment, from the Estonian second division, likely, because they're probably not good enough. But like teams in and around the Championship, League One, them kind of teams, they're open. Their eyes have been open to a lot more leagues, if you know what I mean, from that ability to see them on video.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. I mean, I think I would caveat that with the sort of GBE and rules as a result of Brexit for work permit, especially for English clubs, which still makes it somewhat harder to recruit because the pool is still quite narrow from the leagues of which they're able to sign. Um, but yeah, you're right. We have seen more interest in recruitment occur within the EFL, certainly from this year, as there's been a few more changes within the leagues that we can recruit from. And then, as you say, combine that with the fact you now can get data or video across a wider range of leagues. So, um, Grimsby signed an Icelandic international from their domestic league, and that was able to happen one through, I'm sure, some sort of data and video process, but also the fact that the club, the Icelandic club that he played for, had played some European football last season, which then allowed him to be able to be brought over to England. Similar with Crawley, again, or probably another good example of signing a few players from the USL within America as well. So, yeah, there are definitely ways of doing interesting recruitment. I'd say that it is still hard, again, more so for the English clubs than it is for other leagues. I say purely because a lot of them are shopping in the same market still. But yeah, the power of the video and the data does certainly allow you to cast your net a little bit wider, and yeah, give you some more markets to operate in or at least be monitoring as well. So you know, especially with the expansion of the European competitions and especially the Conference League, there are certainly some more interesting lower level teams. Within those competitions in Europe, that because they're now playing group stage or league stage European football, will be eligible to move to England. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you see some more moves for players in the best teams in Bosnia or Estonia that have managed to get through to the Conference League or Europa League stages.